Okay, so modern compiler support a simpler alternate form of header guards using the hash pragma preprocessor directive. Okay, so how does this work? Hash pragma once serves the same purpose as header guards to avoid a header file from being included multiple times. In traditional header guards, the developer is responsible for guarding the header. So it has the same purpose as a header guard, which simply makes it avoid the definitions being included multiple times or header file being included multiple times. With traditional header guards, the developer is responsible for guarding the header by using preprocessor directives if and if hash define and if with pragma once we are requesting that the compiler guards the header. Okay, so that's it. With traditional header guards, the developer is responsible for guarding the header. However, when we use hash pragma, we set the compiler to guard the headers. Okay, how exactly it does this is an implementation specific detail. For advanced readers, there is one known case where hash pragma once will typically fail. If a header file is copied so that it exists in multiple places on the file system, if somehow both copies of the header file get included, header guards will successfully dedupe the identical headers. But hash pragma once won't because the compiler won't realize they are actually identical content. So it will fail. For most projects, hash pragma once works fine, and many developers now prefer it because it is easier and less error prone. Many IDEs will also auto include hash pragma once at the top of a new header file generated through the IDE. Warning. Okay, so here's a warning. Let's see. The hash pragma directive was designed for compiler implementers to use for whatever purpose they desire. Okay, as such, which pragmas are supported and what meaning those pragmas have is completely implementation specific, with the exception of hash pragma once. Do not expect pragma that works on one compiler to be supported on another by another. Okay, so it's basically saying that hash pragma is used do the same in order to do the same role as the header cards. But in case of header cards, we have a developer that guards the header by using the if ndef define hash if ndef and hash ndef preprocessors. In this case, the compiler is set to guard the header files, and then there is a warning that a hash pragma directive was designed for compiler. It was designed for the compiler implementers to use for whatever purposes they want to, and it is said that there was only one exception to it, that was the hash pragma once, and it is clearly stated here: do not expect a pragma that works on the compiler to be supported by another. Okay, meaning that a hash pragma that works on one compiler may not be supported on the other. Okay, there we go. Okay, move on. Because hash pragma once is not defined by the C++ standards. Okay, so it's not even defined by the C++ standards. It is possible that some compilers may not implement it. For this reason, some development houses recommend using traditional header cards. In this tutorial series, we will favor header cards as they are most conventional. Yeah, because since it is the standard of C++, or it could be said that hash pragma once is not a standard for C++, so it is better to avoid it. It may have its own functionalities, but still, it is, more preferred to use the standard C++, that is using the header cards. However, support for the hash pragma once is fairly ubiquitous at this point, and if you wish to use hash pragma once instead, that is generally accepted in modern C++. Okay. Summary: header guards are designed to ensure that the content of a given header file. Okay, so this is the summary. Let's note that. And okay, once a single file in order to prevent the duplicate definition, duplicate declaration are fine, but even if your header file is composed of all declarations, no definitions, it is still a best practice to include header cards. Okay, so it is a best practice in order to include a header card, even though your header file only have the header, for declarations. Note that that header guards do not prevent the content of the header file from being copied into separate project files. This is good. This is a good thing because we often need to reference the contents of a given header from different project files. Note that the header guard do not prevent the contents of the header file from being copied once into a separate project file. Okay, so meaning that the content of a header file can be copied into separate project files, not just once, but multiple times. Yeah. Let's copy that, and we have it. Okay, now it's time to request add header guards to this header file, add.h. Okay, so and simply come here and quiz. It's int add int x and int y. Okay, so hash if and def add underscore h hash define add underscore h, and go like this, hash and else if, right? I believe I did it the right way. And if, oops, not else if, and if. Not else if, and if. Okay, if and if add underscore h. Okay, it's saying that if the add underscore h is being included or not. If it is already included, the definition is already included, then the code here define add the code here int add, all of this will be ignored. But if the add.h is not being included, then it will go further and define the function or whatever here is. Like, it can be a variable or any sort of identifier.